Last time on Ty the 80s, guys. 80s and 90s video world. Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody Wang Chung Ty night. Luey Flewis, what are you doing here? A real pirate treasure map! Wait, the Blue Diamond Desert? Where thousands of ships, planes, and people have vanished for centuries? That's Blue Diamond Crater. It's a hole that goes thousands of feet down into the depths of the North Atlantic Ocean. The Ballena Rica, which means the wealthy whale in Spanish. Whoa, that's one of the richest sunken ships in history. And the guy who made this was 24-year-old Captain Daniel Paradosington. Daniel made the map so he could one day go and find his identical twin brother's ship, La Ballena Rica. His brother was Captain Devon Paradosington. He really should have been called Devil because he was much, much, much worse than Daniel. As for the GRRRReatness, it is a three-headed, mobile, wooden mountain range. But something caused GRRRReatness to be disturbed, and it started attacking and swallowing ships, and now it goes after planes and other aircrafts. The Invisibubble Air Subble headlight on the front of it, so we can dive into the Blue Diamond Crater and find that treasure. Well, come on, let's go! Alright. Come on, Tiny 80s guy, hurry up! I feel like Scrooge McDuck with Launchpad McWhack Quack. There will be no regular segments in this episode. And that brand new segment will be featuring Disney's DuckTales! DuckTales! Woo! I did do some research on the pirate captains, and I found some more info on the GRRRReatness. Islands named after 80s music. That chain of 6 islands is the Lewis Islands. Is Hartman Island. I don't know why that never occurred to me. Yeah, and that's because the island sank. Wow, it's gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful coral reefs I've ever seen in my life. Ooh, a clownfish. Wow, what a pretty seahorse. Oh, wow. The giant wrasse. Where did all the fish go? That is great 1985 A&W root beer. And now the story continues. Tidy, get away from that window! I said, get away from that window right now! Okay. What in the video world is that thing? It's an extremely rare colossal orange cord eel. A colossal orange cord eel? Yes! They're extremely dangerous. If you kept staring at it, it was going to make a lunch of all of us. Luey, we've got to get out of here. We can't. If we try to leave, it will get us for sure. Doc Brown built this sub to look similar to a colossal orange cord eel. He made it that way to scare off larger predators. This sub is 37 foot long, but that male eel out there is about 40 foot long. Wow, that's the size of a sea monster. Yep, and at 37 foot, he thinks that this sub is a female eel. What? Yes, he's very attracted to it. But when he saw you, he knew that it was a fake. Now he wants to destroy the sub and eat both of us. And if we don't do something really fast, then we are going to be his lunch. Oh, he's really mad now. I know, Tidy. What are we gonna do, Luey? We gotta do something now. There's only one thing we can do. So watch this. Oh, here goes. Bullseye, Tidy. Don't you mean eel's eye, Luey? That's a good one, Tidy. We blinded him, Tidy. We blinded him. The giant wrasse. That's not a giant wrasse, Tidy. That's a humphead wrasse. Well, whatever it is. It's so beautiful, though. And it saved us. Well, I had the plan to blast them with the light. This guy came along and he saved us. I mean, he scared off the colossal orange cord eel. I mean, I feel sorry for it. I hope it's going to be alright. You have a great heart, Tidy. As mean as that thing is, and you still feel bad for it. But yes, the colossal orange cord eel will be fine. He's just like a lot of bullies. When someone or something stands up to him, he runs or swims away like a chicken of the sea. Luey, you're really funny. But I really gotta go thank that humphead wrasse. It's amazing. He was about 18, 20 foot long. Actually, he was 24 and a half foot long. Wow, that is a huge humphead wrasse. Yup. Well, if you want to go thank him so badly, I will go take you scuba diving since you've never been. Well, I'm actually kind of afraid, you know. What if I run out of oxygen and get sick, or I get attacked by a shark or something, or stung by a jellyfish? Quit worrying so much. We'll go scuba diving, and I'll teach you some basics, and you can go thank the giant wrasse. You mean humphead wrasse? Yeah, humphead wrasse. Well, Luey, I'm going to give 2 segments, and then I may just go scuba diving. Alright! Enjoy the segments, everybody! It's the great 80s and 90s contest! This is not one of the two segments that I had planned. This is just a quick update on the 80s or 90s contest. And unfortunately, we're not going to have one at all this season. I have not gotten anybody that has entered, so we will not be giving away the level 42 level best CD or the better prize I tried, the Huey Lewis and the News greatest hit CD. All of these are new. And last and certainly not least, we're not giving away this Xbox 360 Namco Museum Virtual Arcade, which is used. But I will try to figure out something really cool that I can do in Season 2. So with all that being said, let's move on to the first real special segment of this episode. Magic Duck! Magic Duck! Great Scott! It's a Magic Duck! Magic Duck Tie Talk! Sorry we didn't have any special segments in the last episode because I wanted to focus on the undersea adventure, our great blue Ty-amond adventure. We're both still really excited about the possibility of finding the lost pirate ship of La Ballena Rica, especially Luey Flewis. And yes, I will be revealing the extra information I found on the pirate captains and the GRRRReatness. But for right now, I'm going to take a break from all of that and focus on what the majority wants to see. And that is special segments. The segments are back! Yay! As for our special guest star, Super Mario, he wants to have Super in his name now. He will be appearing on videophone after these two segments to give two special announcements. Two greatly special announcements. So let's move on with this Magic Dock item. This Magic Dock item is another one that's dedicated to my late great mom, Penny Ann Nix. Happy Mother's Day! That's a few days late, but I wanted to say it on here. And my great Uncle Terry McLean. It is a, drum roll please, 1990 glass of pink lemonade with ice in it from Max's Mexican Eatery in Hickory, North Carolina. In the late 80s, my mom would take me to Max's Mexican Eatery, and it was the only Mexican restaurant around here pretty much back then. And I loved getting that big plate of greasy cheese nachos. It had cheddar cheese and, white cheese. I guess it was Colby Jack. I don't know what it was, but it was really good. And as I got older, I had to have their trademark salsa on it and their trademark sour cream, which was different than any other sour cream I'd ever had. It had more flavor to it, maybe a little bit of a sweet taste to it. And even as more time went on, I had to eventually have their guacamole. I have to have this pink lemonade to go with it. It was tradition. Every time I ate there, I had to have pink lemonade with a big old plate of cheese nachos. And in the 90s, when my great Uncle Terry lived with my dad here in Granite Falls, I stayed a lot with them too. It was on Saturdays that he and I would go to Max's Mexican Eatery, and of course I had to have my regular plate of cheese nachos or my macho nachos with sopapillas or fried ice cream for dessert. So I'll never forget going to Max's with my mom or my Uncle Terry. And I have been having such a craving here lately to go back and experience it. But I've not heard such good things about it. And last time I ate there, I remember getting sick on my stomach from all the grease. So I don't know if it's going to be better or if it's going to be more like before. But I'm willing to give it another go. So we'll see if my friend Quentin from work would like to go and eat there sometime soon. So it's time to drink this 1990 glass of pink lemonade. See if it tastes as good as I remember it. Oh yes. So good. But it's still not as good as I remember it being when I was a kid. I guess I really need that big plate of cheese nachos from Max's to really make this complete. But we don't have time for that. TYME. Because it's time to move on to the next segment. And it is brand new. Whoop! Ty-Day's childhood memory. Ty-Day's childhood memory. Bow. First off, if you didn't notice, I had turned on the overhead light, the ceiling fan light, earlier so I could have a lot more light so that you'll be able to see these awesome things that go with this first ever segment of Ty-Day's childhood memory. And my childhood memory has to do with Disney's DuckTales. Woo! Pow! Unless you're a Disney fan that's been living under a rock for over a year, you know that last year Disney had announced that their classic 1987 to 1990 syndicated Disney afternoon cartoon DuckTales is returning to TV as a new series. Yay! And it will be premiering on Disney XD next year. As of last year, there's only been one image of what the show will look like. It shows super duper trillionaire Scrooge McDuck riding in a van with Huey, Dewey, and Luey, his nephews, and Donald Duck trying his best to hold on to the top of the van as they're going through native territory. You can see there are some spears that have been thrown into the side of their van. And then, of course, there is Webigail Vanderquack there in the back seat. Plus, they are riding what appears to be in the jungle. So, if you want to see that picture, just go to Google and type in DuckTales 2017 first image. Or follow me on Twitter at TYNN80s. And look through my pictures and you will find that image that I'm talking about. So you get a good general idea of the kind of artwork to expect in the series. And yes, it will not be CGI. It will actually be hand-drawn. Here is the cover of a Gladstone Giant special number 4 comic book album. Of course, it's Uncle Scrooge. And this one's called Uncle Scrooge vs. Flint-Heart Glomgold. And I highly recommend that if anybody has never read Uncle Scrooge comics, eventually picks this one up. Actually, you could pick this one up as one of the first ones. And let's take a look at this. This is not Carl Barks' artwork, who is the originator of Uncle Scrooge. This is his successor, Don Rosa. And check out this artwork. You've got Scrooge there on the left, and notice that he's wearing red as his suit, and he wears red as his suit in the new DuckTales instead of blue. And there on the right is Flintheart Glomgold. He has a green suit. But look at all this detail on the gold and stuff. I know my camera is really bad, but it's about the best I can do. You see pots of gold, and there's even golden flowers and coins and rocks and stuff. And look at all these statues in the background. These are actually supposed to be Incan golden statues. And of course you see Donald Duck and the three nephews. I'm going to be really careful with this. I do not want to open it up too much. This is the first page of Uncle Scrooge, the second richest duck. And you can see there's Scrooge with Donald Duck. You can see it has more of a simple style, but still detailed. The Don Rosa artwork on the cover comes from his 1987 classic Son of the Sun. And then the Carl Barks artwork I showed you came from his 1956 classic, The Second Richest Duck. So I think that if you want to get a good basic understanding of how this newer DuckTales will work, I think you need to pick up Uncle Scrooge versus Flintheart Glomgold. Just look it up on eBay or Amazon, and you should be able to get a fairly decent copy for not too much, I hope. I'm hoping that they stick with the mixture of Carl Barks and Don Rosa style artwork for the series. There's still so many great Carl Barks stories, and Don Rosa has tons. So there's so many stories they could do. I just hope they get it right, because it appears that none of the original voice cast is returning for this, and I don't understand. That makes as much sense as Disney Infinity being canceled. Yes, I still can't believe that it's been canceled. I never owned it, but there you go. But moving right along. So there's your in-TY-ro-duction. But now it's time for the childhood memory. A lot of people who have known me for a long time should know that I love the story of Atlantis. The idea of a whole 8th continent sunk deep beneath the waves is really fascinating. But as I got older, it still fascinates me, but I'm not quite as obsessed with it. But I'll never forget it. And the first time I ever heard of Atlantis was in DuckTales. And this is DuckTales Volume 2, Disc 2 on DVD. And this is the case. Notice the artwork here and see if you remember anything from watching this. There's Scrooge and Doofus looking out the window of the gold digger submarine that GRRRReatness designed. And there on the left is one of the mermen or frog or fish person who is trying to capture Scrooge because the mermen believe that air breathers are nothing but trouble because they continuously dump their trash from the surface into their ocean world. See, he's getting ready to lasso them with a rope made of seaweed. And this episode, multi-parter, is a 4-parter, and it's called Catch as Cash Can. I really don't like that name. I like calling it the Firefly Fruit Contest. Scrooge battles Flintheart Glomgold to determine who is the richest duck in the world so they can own the Firefly Fruit from the Isle of Macaroon. In this episode, Aqueducts, Scrooge, Launchpad, McQuack, GRRReatness, and Doofus Drake all journey into the depths of the Marinara Trench. Yes, it's a parody of Mariana's Trench, to find his trillions of dollars that he had to dump into the ocean to save he and Donald Duck in the last episode. This is where Atlantis comes from, and they rise it to the surface. But more about that next time. But the thing that stands out in my mind is the part where the mermen put the gang to work as their 400-year punishment to work in the city dump. And the city dump is Atlantis. And I remember that when I was a little kid in probably 87 or 88 whenever I first saw this episode, because its original air date was 1987. So there you go. DuckTales Aqueducts, the very first childhood memory of Ty to 80s guys, 80s and 90s video world. Now I'm going to go to video phone where Super Mario is waiting in my house with two greatly special announcements. Hello, it's me Mario, and I'm here at Ty the 80s guys Great 80s and 90s Museum. I got here via a warp pipe that was in the woods behind the museum. Now for the first announcement, and that is every Monday on Ty the 80s guys Twitter, which is it's not appealing. Boom. Yeah. Boop. There we go. In 80s, if you follow him on there, every Monday is Super Mario Monday, and I will be running the Twitter all day, and you'll hear all kinds of facts and fun from me, Mario. The next announcement is very special, and it is my second and final announcement of the day. Yeah! Yeah! Woohoo! Boop! And this is the sign for an upcoming brand new segment of Ty the 80s guys 80s and 90s video world called Tree Fall Time. It is dedicated to small independent video game making company Tree Fall Studios, led by young Eli Brewer. I just love Tree Fall Studios. They are so awesome. We'll be talking about all their games for the Wii U, the ones they have now. Oh, stay still sign. Thank you. And the upcoming ones for the Wii U and the NX. Ty the 80s guys brand new Tree Fall Studios shirt. And that is Nami the Nomad from their upcoming 2D platformer, The Gem Collector. Woohoo! He looks very old school, doesn't he? Like he stepped out of a 1980s arcade machine. Oh no, the video phone just died. And half the lights just went out. Luey, what is going on? Tidy! We're in big trouble! Yeah, I know. The video phone just died and half the lights just went out. I know! This is really, really bad! just turn back on all the lights and the video phone. I wasn't done talking with Mario. So stop all these jokes right now. I promise I'm not joking. This is real. Please, just look out the window. All right. Let's see what's going on out there. Oh no! Luey, we're going to hit that huge wall coral. I know, Tidy, I know. And this sub is not built to withstand that. We're gonna die. Oh, no! Ty B continued. What will happen to our heroes? Find out in the next episode.